Hello and welcome to Tabletop Oddity. My name is Jay and today I'm going to be running through a basic Imperial army for Star Wars Legion. So we'll be running through the entire list, and when I say basic, it's you can make this list from the core set, an ATST and one unit of Stormtroopers. So like you can imagine that's a very cheap list to build. We're going to try and maximize what we have available to us, and at the end of the video I'll start talking about what we can do to sort of improve this or where you might want to take it. So this for now is just like maybe an 800 point list that I think most people might have available and might actually want to run. So this is it. I'm doing it in Tabletop Admiral. It's a list builder that you can go online. I do highly recommend it. I'll put the list in the link below. This is the list that when I did my like what to buy videos, and I said like this was the basic list that I put there. So very quickly we'll run through it. You've got Darth Vader with Force Push, Force Reflexes and Saber Throw. You've got 2 units of Stormtroopers, each one taking the DLT-19. An extra Stormtrooper, one with impact grenades and one with concussion grenades. Now, if you only buy one box of Stormtroopers, you'll only have one impact grenade card, so we can only use that once. I would possibly want to rock the double impact grenade and only one concussion grenade, but we don't have that available to us. The third unit, a lot of people don't really rate this one, but we've got the HH-12 Stormtrooper with the concussion grenades. For the ATST, we're taking the concussion grenade launcher, and to top it up, we've got the speeder bikes. So let's actually have a look at what that is in the builder, just so we can have a look at the actual card. So Darth Vader himself, Force Push, really good for objective control. You get 2 of them in the pack, so it's easily available. Yep. Can't go too much wrong with that. Force Reflexes, this is going to maximize his his deflect. He can ready a card, so Force Reflex is pretty useful there. Saber Throw is, for me, if you're running Darth Vader right now, it is imperative that you take Saber Throw. It gives him a ranged attack, basically. It gives him 3 red dice at range, impact 3, PS 3, all on his ranged attack. Really, really good. He's a bit expensive, but that's fine. So we got 3 units of Stormtroopers. You need 3 as a minimum of your core unit. So, we needed to take 3. It's just a case of what do you take with them. Now, if you want 3, you can either buy 2 sets of 2 core sets, or you could buy an upgrade of the Stormtrooper box set on its own. And I personally do recommend it if you want the impact grenades, which I have to say I do like. So the DLT extra trooper there, it's 2 red dice a card. You're not that particularly great, but that's fine. Impact 1, range 1 to 4, gives them it's like a little, it's a powerful sniper rifle basically. And for 24 points, I highly think that is worth it. An extra Stormtrooper. The thing with the extra Stormtroopers are you could just maybe not include it and try and save up enough points to have an extra unit. Maybe that's something you would want to do. Unfortunately, you would have to have the models, so you would then have to go and buy another Stormtrooper unit. If that's something you want to do keep that in mind. The impact grenades are basically the anti-vehicle grenade. I would at least take 1 unit with that. The second Stormtrooper unit is pretty much the exact same thing, except one of them's got concussion grenades. Now, if you really wanted, and we don't have the points here, but if you maybe take that with grappling hooks, then you've got a unit there that can actually get into blast range 1 range and, take a unit out of cover. If you've got 5 points, it's definitely worth throwing on, and in these cases, as we're only taking 3 Stormtroopers, we might as well build them up properly. The gear-wise, you can targeting scopes, not really that useful on the Stormtroopers because they're already precise 1, so they would be precise 2, which when you were using an aim token, you'd be able to reroll 4 dice. The grappling hooks for 3 points. I mean, to be fair, I've actually left 3 points on the table. You could very easily take the grappling hooks. For some reason, I didn't. But let's just add that in. Let's add onto that one. Fine, we're exactly 800 points now. The last unit of Stormtroopers, a lot of people don't like the H12, but it's 3 black dice, which I think are okay. It's cumbersome, which is a problem, which does mean you will need to ready your card. Now you can shoot, well, you can, for the first turn you could aim, shoot, and then you could ready, shoot, depending on how much you really want to like maximize this card. Impact 3, it's nice. It's definitely an anti-vehicle weapon, and it's not like you're lacking options for anti-vehicles. I just personally think having one of these buffs up, fills up the points, and is going to be occasionally useful, especially if you come across maybe like the ATRTs, which I think are pretty good, and the air speeder, which I don't think is that great, but you want to get rid of it as soon as possible. If you didn't have that, then you would probably need an extra unit of stormtroopers to start making up the points. So as I said, this is literally a core set, an ATST, and a unit of stormtroopers. So very cheap list. That's why I'm calling it the basic list. I'm not necessarily saying this is the best list. Again, just an extra unit of stormtroopers, the concussion grenades, because they're cheap and we've got it. The ATST, now for me, you either take all the weapons on the ATST with Vice, General Vice, or you just take one extra weapon. And for me, if you're looking at the extra weapon, then the concussion grenade is my favourite. It just the other two, I'm just not that big of a fan of. Whereas this, range 1 to 2, ignores cover. It's really good for just, any little stormtrooper unit, or infantry unit I should say, in cover. You can just sort of march forward, try and pick them apart. I like that, but feel free to run whichever ones you wanted. If you want to reduce the amount of stuff on your stormtroopers, you could get more weapons with Vice, but I personally think that's what I would rock with. And the speeder bikes, I would just run them plain. You can take the comms jammer if you want to run them straight into your opponent. I wouldn't really recommend that, they'll die quite quickly. Long range comlink, that's going to help you receive orders if you are on the flank. If you want to do like a precision strike, then long range comlink is fine. You could remove the grappling hooks, remove some of the grenades, remove an extra stormtrooper and get them all in, but that's completely up to you. So that's it. That's the basic list that I've made. And I keep saying it is basic. You don't need to buy much to create this list. This is sort of like what your first list might look like. The question then is, what do we do next? Where do we go with the Imperial list? And I actually think that's a really tough question to answer for the Imperials. I think it's a lot easier for the Rebels, but for Imperials, I think, well, where do you go? A second ATST? No. Until we get Vias and we have a cheaper commander, you can't really run. You can do it, but I don't recommend running Darth Vader, an ATST, and another ATST. That'd pretty much be 600 points in a 800 point game. It's just too expensive. So speeder bikes, well, we've only used one of the speeder bikes. You could get another speeder bike if you wanted. I would actually personally consider, for now, dropping the ATST, running an extra unit of speeder bikes and running an extra unit of stormtroopers, but you would have to buy the speeder bikes and the stormtroopers. So keep that in mind. My actual recommendation is to wait for Vias and the snowtroopers, because the snowtroopers are going to have the impact grenades. Vias is a cheaper commander, and then you've got more options, and then we can start figuring out what you actually like yourself. Maybe you like more stormtroopers, so you could buy Vias and stormtroopers. Maybe you actually do like the speeder bikes, so you can get the speeder bikes, Vias, more stormtroopers, no ATST, no Vader, and rock with that much cheaper units, but more of them. It's very much going to be interesting to see how Vias and the snowtroopers change things. For now, I personally would wait. If you were going to buy anything, I don't think you would go too far wrong with an extra unit of stormtroopers. I feel like it seems that infantry is quite well regarded, and getting ways of removing infantry is also good. So you could rock with an extra unit of stormtroopers, or you could personally wait. I'm going to wait, I think. I actually have 2 core sets, so technically I have 5 units of stormtroopers. But the thing is, if you take out the ATST, the stormtroopers then have a lot more work to do because you don't have that big, massive target. So I'm probably just going to wait for Vias and the snowtroopers, and at least buy both of them for one of them. If I start liking the snowtroopers, then I'll get the snowtroopers. But as I said, this is a basic list. We're not in super competitive, you know, it's not like Worlds is next week and people are trying to make super competitive lists. These are just basic lists that you can, right now, you can get on the table and you can start playing. And as you can see, you only need to buy the core set, a unit of stormtroopers, an ATST, and you're straight up there for the Imperials. Very simple to achieve. There's not that many models in this army, maybe like 24, something like that. So very easy to get on the table, really. And yeah, let me know your thoughts. As I said, it's very basic. Don't if you're going to criticize this list, what I would suggest is try and use things that people are already likely to have. Like, there's no point recommending 2 ATSTs because that's a big expense and I'm not expecting people to have that. And there's not at the minute point worth recommending 3 speeder bags because, yeah, you might like them, but are they actually going to be good in the long run? Well, we'll have to wait and see. So for me, this is just very basic. You can get it on the table, you can play it right now, and you won't go too far wrong. So if you did like this video, do like, subscribe, all that kind of good stuff. And as ever, have a most beautiful day. Goodbye. Bye, guys.